Hello, my name's Claire, this is Peachy Keen Pans. Today I'm going to be updating my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. Where we're at is that I have used each of my shadows at least once, and the reason for that being is that I'm wearing all of my focus shadows on my eyes right now. So I'm going to go through in order. I have Subterranean, that's a dark blue, that's my little outer wing. I have Free Yourself, which is that aqua, kind of bright aqua matte in the outer corner. I have Woke in the inner corner, the pink matte. Frostbite Me in the inner corner as the actual inner corner highlight, the shimmer. And Peach Passion, that's all over the lid, but then covered in an iridescent topper as well as on the lower lash line, and then again topped with an iridescent shadow. So basically I have used all of my shades at least one more time since last time, but I haven't been focusing on them as much because I am also starting another project which I'm going to introduce hopefully very soon. So yeah, I'll get into each of the shadows then. I do also have a bit of a cold at the moment, so if I sound a bit congested, that's why. And I feel like the other thing worth mentioning is that I feel, I don't know how you guys are seeing it or quite how it's looking on camera, but I feel like I've gone unintentionally really 80s today, and specifically like 80s ballet teacher or 80s school teacher who wishes she was still a ballerina. I feel like that's what I'm giving today because of having like an aqua sort of, for whatever reason, this look I feel is really dominated by that aqua color. Having this like bun because my hair is so dirty. This is the first time I've worn a turtleneck in years and years, and then yeah, it's just, I feel all coming together. Plus with this like kind of garish blush, again I'm not sure how it's translating. You can see on the back of my hand, you know, how that looked as well. I'm using a lip stain, a mini lip stain as a blush, and I think I actually did a pretty bad job of it, to be honest. So I feel like the bold blush, the turtleneck, the aqua, it's all giving really 80s. But anyway, let me know if you agree. Getting into the actual shadows, it'll be a bit of a quicker update than last time. I think last time was very rambly, but this time I'll just get straight into it. Subterranean, I have now used a total of 4 times in the project. That's this shadow here. Hopefully you can see, still looking like there's a bit of a dip, but like nothing that dramatic really because it's only been 4 uses. I think, as I talked about last time, one of those uses was sort of all over the lid, but every other use has basically been as an eyeliner or topping another color to create an eyeliner. And I mean, I think as I explained, it's not really a favorite shade. I did have hopes of hitting pan in it, and if I'm honest, I don't think it's gonna happen. Like, I think this type of a blue is just not it for me. So maybe I need to make peace with that, knowing that I've given it a go. 4 uses in a way, 4 uses of using a shade that I wasn't that drawn to, I think is pretty good, personally. I mean, I think it might be one of these things, I might roll it out of this project, but just have it be an unofficially, I'll try and sort of touch base with it in the sense of use it here and there throughout the rest of the year. I think that's what I'm going to do. In terms of, because my intention had been to hit pan on every shadow in this palette, which as you can see leaves the black, which I think I already had caveated and given myself leeway to just not bother with that one. The dark blue, which I'm having a bit of trouble with. The red, which I actually think I probably would also have trouble hitting pan on. I do really like red, but again, it's so bold, it's such a punchy color. It's not something that I wear all the time. The dark green maybe is the one I'd be the most likely to be successful with because I use a dark green liner, like shadow liner, actually a fair bit, and I have clothes that kind of can tie into. I do like tying my eyeshadow color to my clothing. Maybe the green it'll happen, I'm not sure about the others, we'll have to see. Moving on to the next shade, so that is a total of 4 uses. I believe it's only been 1 use this month, which is what I'm wearing today. The next shadow, I'm pretty sure also is the only use that it's gotten is today's look. So over the last month. And I also was wearing it quite prominently in my last video as well. And that is Free Yourself. Where are we? Here. So this shadow, again, you should be able to see there's not a whole lot going on in there. It looks, you know, mildly used, and I'm fine with that. It's only a total of 3 uses, which seems a bit crazy to me. Like 3 uses, and yet it feels I've used it enough times to understand it, to understand the formula. Today, for example, I'm not wearing it over a white base, and I'm pretty sure last time I was. I think I'm getting a sense of what it looks like both over a normal primer and over a white primer, how it blends into other colors. I feel that the purpose of having a shade like that in this project, which is with, you know, a newer palette, a palette I've only just gotten, I feel that part of the purpose of bringing that into a panning project is to understand the formula, understand how it works, you know, play around a bit, experiment. I think I've done that. And despite it sounding like not much at all, I think after those 3 uses, I'm also quite happy to roll that out of the project. Okay, the next shadow is Woke, which is currently in here because I created a sort of shop your stash / duping the vibes of the new Ensley Rain palette, the Ensley Rain Flower Moon palette, I should say. I'm just rearranging that because I also had a bronzer in here, but I'll show you what it looks like properly without that bronzer. So there we go. There, Woke is this shadow, the pink here. And also, how pretty is this palette that I made? I'm so happy with it. Beautiful. But yeah, Woke is doing okay. It's got a bit of a dip, you can probably see forming there. I only used it very lightly today, and I think I used it once or twice this month. It's now at a total of 11 uses, so I would have to check from my previous month what the number of uses was to figure out how many uses were this month. But a total of 11, so I think I did use it a few times. If I have some pictures, I'll pop them up, but I find that it's a shade that translates a little darker on the eye than it does in the pan. It's quite impactful and yet has like a sheerness to it. It basically, translates as maybe as it is in the pan, right? Because what I'm saying is it shears out and yet it's darker instead of being like highly pigmented and opaque, but exactly as light as it is. Anyway, it's a fine shadow. I'm happy to keep that in. I'm happy to keep that in. And what I am thinking as I'm going through this, is that I might reduce the number of shadows in this project. So instead of rolling anything new here, just keeping in maybe 3 shades so that I can give enough of my attention to my other project, which I'm going to be starting, which I have already started but haven't filmed an intro for yet, and which I'll hopefully get up soon. Which is my Pan That palette for the rest of the year, which I'm pretty excited about. But I think what I'll do is run a Pan Those Eyeshadows project alongside it, but keep it smaller. So I'll keep in Woke, the Colourpop shade. The next shade that I am going to keep in as well is Frostbite Me from the Gingerbread palette. That is this shadow here. You can see kind of how that's looking. But yeah, I think it kind of ends up, it's a bit weird. It's a bit chunky. It hard pans a little bit as well. It's basically like a white metallic with a little bit of a pink shift, but it's so subtle. It's definitely not what I'd call a duochrome, but it has a bit of something going on there. But that chunkiness, it does make it a bit awkward to pick up. I think I should try using it as a highlighter at some point, and maybe on a day where I'm willing to have quite a glittery highlighter. Sort of try to multi-purpose it a bit, because really what I've done so far is just use it in the inner corner. And it's not even really my favorite for the inner corner, because I normally prefer more of a bright pigmented, very pale inner corner as opposed to a sparkly kind of piecey inner corner. But yeah, it's been fine. That's a total of 4 uses now, which I believe were all this month because I think I only rolled it in last time. And my last shadow is Peach Passion, which, as I said before, is actually the Colourpop shade Prowlin, but which I pressed into this Too Faced palette, which was a Pan That palette, focal palette for me a couple of years ago. So what I'm working on is this shade here. So hopefully you can see it is showing progress. I've used it a total of 9 times in the project, and I mean, if I use it another 30 plus times, maybe I will hit pan on it. And I would quite like to have pan on it just because, like, look at this palette. Like, look at that progress. Do you know what I mean? Like, having an extra pan would be quite satisfying. Probably having a pan on every shade in this palette would be quite satisfying. So yeah, that's where I'm up to with that one. So that is all of the shades in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. I don't have any bonus pans this time. And really, yeah, what I have been getting at, and I'm not sure if I've fully explained yet, is that I have also started a Pan That palette with this little guy. Already had a fair amount of use on it. I'm really just looking to expand and hit pan on the shadows that don't yet have pan. But yeah, I have been already sort of, even before this month, I was kind of starting to focus on it, getting a bit excited to use it. And so yeah, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think with this being an 8 pan palette, 9, 10, 11, having say 3 shades in Pan Those Eyeshadows project, I think that's a good amount of shades to focus on, like 11 for the time being. And if I do feel inspired or like super motivated, maybe I'll bring the Pan Those Eyeshadows number up to 4 instead of 3. But I think what I will do from here on is probably keep 3 focus shades to add in alongside of this. And I will have hopefully the video up. I will hopefully have the video introducing my Pan That palette quite soon. I did kind of want to film it right now, but this look doesn't in any way scream peach, and the whole point is that I'm panning a peach palette, so I do kind of think I should do my due diligence and wear a peach look to introduce this palette. So anyway, it'll be up soon, and yeah, hope you're all having a good time where you are, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.